What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with Reactions to the Classics. Today we're going to have a top 10 movie soundtrack reaction brought to us by our live stream supporters and patrons. We have live streams every Wednesday night, 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. And over the last month, we have put this list together as a community. The live stream people put it together. We ranked them. We finally got to 10. It took a while. We battled songs off, and so we've come to a top 10. There's a couple that I would have had on here that they didn't, but that's the whole thing of this, right? There's so many songs to choose from. So pay attention and let me know at the end of this video who you would have on here, and if you'd like to join us, pop into those live streams. Every month or every other month, we're going to put lists together and bring them up here. And if you'd like to support us in any way, check out our Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the end screen or our Buy Me a Coffee page where you can just give a one-time donation or for a reaction, for a song battle, anything you'd like. All right, if you haven't been with us before, the music won't be in the video, but it will be at a Vimeo link below. So click on that and follow along with us. Let's jump into it with number 10. All right, I'm only doing this for you guys because I love you guys. I hate this song with a passion. Not because it's necessarily a bad song. I mean, it might be, but if you love it, I get it. But I was born in 1971. This came out in 1984, and this thing will wear you out back then. Between being on the radio and then the video was on constantly. Ghostbusters was huge, the biggest grossing comedy of all time for a very long time. Not just in 1984, for a very long time after that. But jump into the research here. Some of the research was done by one of our live stream supporters, Bostar. So thank you, Bostar. Major shout out to you. And then I filled in a bunch of things because if you watch this channel, you know me, I'm crazy. I do a lot of research. So all these, of course, are off the soundtracks. First of 3 songs on this chart from 1984. Number 1 in the US, 2 in UK. I also found this is 99 on the all-time singles chart in the UK. It's the 99th biggest song of all time there. In the US, Ray had a number of hits with his band Radio, and as a solo artist in the UK, much more minor, although he did score again in 1987 with I Didn't Think That Man Should Sleep Alone. This was nominated for an Academy Award for Original Song, but lost to Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You from The Woman in Red. There'll be another song on this list that met the same fate. A lawsuit accusing Parker of basing the song's melody on Huey Lewis and the News' song I Want a New Drug resulted in Huey receiving a settlement. The story behind that, Ray was approached by the film's producers to create a song. He couldn't come up with anything. He was either watching TV really late at night or woke up late in the middle of the night with the TV on. There's 2 different accounts of it. And saw an exterminating service, bugs, whatever, call. So then he came up with who you going to call. And Ray talks about, he never says Ghostbusters in the song. The chorus says, who you going to call? Ghostbusters. But the reason why he based it on I Want a New Drug is because that was what was in the movie clip that the producers gave him. They just had that song in there. They didn't use the song in the actual movie. And so he kind of wrote it based on that melody a little bit, whether subconsciously or consciously. So anyway, that's kind of how that happened. So Huey got a settlement, but there was a non-disclosure. In 2001, Huey talked about Ray stealing this song, and he ended up having to pay some money to Ray for saying that. So I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, live stream supporters. Ray was on the sound effects for a lot of this, but so was the great Martin Page, who I have a reaction up to on the channel. Look, man, like I said, I've just heard this song way too much. If somebody said, what did 1984 sound like? You can play him this song. It's got everything on here. But I mean, Ray wrote a great song. It was over. I mean, like I said, it's the 99th biggest song ever in the UK. And it was huge in the US here as well. Let's go to number 9. We're not going to go very far because it's from 1984. Another song I heard way too much, Kenny Loggins' Footloose. Co-written and recorded by Kenny, released in January 1984 as the first of 2 singles by Loggins from the 1984 film of the same name. The other one being I'm Free, Heaven Helps a Man. It's a banger of a song too. The song spent 3 weeks at number 1 in the US, becoming Kenny's only chart topper. He was a soundtrack man in the 80s. He had one from Caddyshack too, but also Danger Zone. And it came down to Footloose and Danger Zone. Danger Zone from Top Gun, of course, in 86. It came down to those 2 songs, and this one won out. It spent 3 weeks at number 1, as I said, 4 in the UK. And in 1984, this was the number 4 song in the US, and this is the number 313 song in the entire chart history in the US. So that is something. When the American Film Institute, or AFI, very, very prestigious thing, 100 years, 100 songs, Footloose was 96 on that list. And you heard this before, it was nominated for an Academy Award in 1985, but lost out to I know you boys and girls were paying attention. I Just Called to Say I Love You by Stevie Wonder. Another song that was highly annoying, but I think Stevie just got that Academy Award because it was Stevie. Who can argue with that? All right, listen to those songs back to back. Footloose is about a million times better song and less dated than Ghostbusters, but I keep sounding like I'm hating on Ray Parker Jr. He always seemed like a great guy. So this song, number 9, is it better than Danger Zone from Top Gun? I don't know, man. It's close. Now we're going to dial it way back to a song with incredible acclaim. Judy Garland, 1939, Over the Rainbow, by far the oldest song on here. It comes in the short part of the film to feature the black and white before the flight into Oz into color. Lyricist Yip Harburg is understood to have been writing very much from the heart about the struggles of the Jewish people, just as he was in Buddy Can Spare You a Dime in 1932. The fact this movie came out in 39 only serves to add to this poignancy, of course. These are all Bostar, the supporters' facts, too. Judy Garland was only 16 when she first recorded it, continued performing it throughout her life until her sad death from a barbiturates overdose in 1969. The song has outlived both the film and Garland. Countless covers by artists such as diverse as Bing Crosby, Jerry Lee Lewis, and Ava Cassidy. It won the Academy Award for Best Original Song, became Garland's signature song. It's been included in several all-time lists and has been covered in different languages. 2017, it was put into the National Recording Registry Library of Congress Hall of Fame or induction, and the RIAA, which is a huge organization, and the National Endowment for the Arts ranked it number 1 on their Songs of the Century list, and the AFI, the American Film Institute's 100 Songs, 100 Years. This song was number 1. So, obviously the audio quality is not going to be as sharp as it is on Footloose, but it's still cool to just dial way back. All right, we went back in that time capsule over 85 years ago at this point, which is insane, but sounds great. 16 years old, just cool to hear that. Some people would have this at number 1. A lot of people, I mean, I told you the list that had them, but some people who make this list would have it number 1. Some people wouldn't even have it in the top 10. I'm fine with it at 8. Number 7, John Bon Jovi, Blaze of Glory, from the Blaze of Glory album in 1990, which was from Young Guns too, but it was called the Blaze of Glory. Debut solo single, 1 in the US, topped the Australian, Canadian, and New Zealand singles charts to reach number 13 on the UK singles charts, number 10 on the US year-end. The way this happened, Emilio Estevez, who was, basically the star and had some production stuff in Young Guns too, approached John and wanted to use Wanted Dead or Alive, which is from their 1986 album, Slippery When Wet. And he said, let me write a new one, because this song was about touring. Let me write a new one for you. That's why he did this, and several more for the movie. So it's a fantastic song. Brings me back. Bon Jovi's already gigantic at this time. They had Slippery and Wet in 86, but they also had New Jersey in 88. Was almost every bit as big of a hit. John also wrote one other solo album written for a movie, this time Destination Anywhere in 1997. Nominated for an Academy Award, won an American Music Award, won the Golden Globes Award, and Grammy nominated for Best Rock Male Performance. A lot of great artists on this. So we got John, of course, on lead vocals and acoustic and piano. Jeff Beck on lead and slide. Benmont Tench from the Heartbreakers and several other places on Hammond. Randy Jackson. Yeah, that Randy Jackson, American Idol, on bass. And Kenny Aronoff on drums. Most famously, John Mellencamp and a lot of other artists, but Kenny's a very famous drummer. So John got some great backing musicians on this thing. All right, our number 7 movie soundtrack song, Blaze of Glory. That song is fantastic. I know there's a lot of Bon Jovi haters. That song is fantastic. That song fires me up. He sounds great. The arrangement's great. It just brings back good memories for me. All right, next up at number 6, Prince, Purple Rain, movie in 1984. Third single from the album. Went to number 2 in the U.S., kept off of number 1 from Wham's Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, their first United States hit. Following Prince's death in 2016, it re-entered the Hot 100, reached number 4, re-entered the UK singles chart at number 6, placing 2 places higher than its original peak. In France, where it originally peaked at number 12, it reached number 1 a week after Prince's death. Other songs, Bostart gave me this fact, to do better after to fare better after a singer's death in the UK include Imagine, of course, When and Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson, and Heroes by David Bowie. I found it was ranked number 18 on Rolling Stone's top 500 songs of all time, included in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. And it's very famous. Prince's Super Bowl performance is considered by most experts to be the best. It started raining during this song, and they had purple lighting for effects, so you literally had purple rain. It's also the last song that Prince ever performed in concert back at April 14th of 2016. Original written as a country song, a collaboration with Stevie Nicks. Stevie's talked about this. She said she received a 10-minute instrumental version of the song from Prince with a request to write the lyrics, but she felt overwhelmed. She said, quote, "I listened to it. I just got scared. I called him back and said, I can't do it. I wished I could. It's too much for me," end quote. At a rehearsal, then Prince asked his backing band to try the song. He said, "I want to try something before we go home. It's mellow." And according to Lisa Coleman, who's in The Revolution, because it's really Prince and The Revolution is what it's deemed as, Prince changed the song after Wendy started playing guitar chords to accompany the song. He was excited to hear it voiced differently. It took out of that country feeling. Then we all started playing it a bit harder, taking it more seriously. We played it for 6 hours straight. By the end of that day, we had mostly written all of it. Prince explained the meaning of the song. It's pretty vague, right? What does it really mean? When there's blood in the sky, red and blue equals purple. Purple rain pertains to the end of the world and being with the one you love and letting your faith God guide you through the purple rain, end quote. After recording the song, Prince called Jonathan Cain from Journey, which Jonathan Cain has a whole nother history now, but from Journey, and asked him to listen to it. He was worried it sounded too familiar to Faithfully, a song that Journey had a few years before that, a ballad that ended out one of their albums, a Journey single composed by Cain. But Cain said, "No, man, you're good." For release as a single, the song was edited down from 841 to 405. So it was edited down because, they're not going to have an 8-minute song, but we're going to listen to the original. Now, you could argue this isn't even the best song from Purple Rain. A lot of people say it's When Doves Cry, which is a bigger hit, but I mean, almost everyone universally critically recognizes this as not only the best song on this album, but his best song. I don't know if it's his best song or not, but Let's Go Crazy was fantastic. I Would Die For You. I think this is one of the greatest albums of all time. And because of that, when we first started this channel back in 2019, Trey and I think the fourth album we ever reviewed was Purple Rain by Prince. And Trey agreed with me. It's one of the greatest albums of all time. All right, over 8 minutes. Let's get it. All right, this was actually recorded live in front of an audience, but I won't get into all that. I know I could have went with the 4-minute because this is an easy song to cut, right? Cut for a radio edit because it's all instrumental on the closeout. But it really, Prince is one of the greatest guitarists of all time as well. But for my money, Prince is the greatest all-around musician of all time, of the recorded music era, right? We're not going back to Beethoven and all that. I can't speak with authority on that at all. Beethoven, all this, I can't. So, but I'm talking about from 1930-ish on. I think the greatest all-around musician, bar none, really. Now, I'm going to get to the top 5. And to show you how diverse of a list this is, we had Judy Garland from 1939 at number 8, and we got Eminem on the. What other list is going to give you Judy Garland and Eminem on the same list? Lose Yourself from 2002 from the 8 Mile soundtrack. First hip-hop song to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song, won the Grammy Award for Best Rap Song and Best Rap Solo Performance. Second most streamed song on Spotify from the 2000s. Now, I don't know if that's still inaccurate. He recorded the song in a portable studio on the set, doing one take for each verse. That's it. Upon its release, worldwide chart success, peaking at number 1 in 24 countries, including the U.S., where it was number 1 for 12 weeks, and his first number 1 in the U.S. 12-week number 1 run in Australia, topped the charts in the UK, Ireland, New Zealand, Denmark, Canada, and many others. 167 on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Songs of All Time, won the Grammy Award for Song of the Year, and it is also number 169 on the all-time Hot 100 chart. And Australian singer-songwriter Casey Chambers performed the song in Australia in 2022, and I actually have a reaction to that. It was really interesting to see her take on it. But this song's fantastic, and Eminem is by far the most streamed artist on this list. He's got 66 million monthly listeners. To contrast that, the Beatles have 33 million. So like Eminem or hate him, he is massively still successful all these years later. Kind of crazy. All right, Lose Yourself. I think M's best song, but that's quite a statement. The movie itself, semi-autobiographical, so the song itself is as well. I watched the movie at the theater, 8 Mile. I thought that was a good movie. When you're playing a movie when it's kind of about yourself, you don't have to have a huge amount of acting chops, so who knows if M can really act or not. I know some of his later work is pretty uneven, but there's still some great stuff in there. But this song has a special place in my heart. Back before I got rheumatoid arthritis and I could lift heavy weights back in the early 2000s. When I crawl under 400 pounds on the bench press, this was the only song I'd listen to get me just psyched up and ready to go. So it's always going to have a special place in my heart. Good choice for number 5. It's a loaded top 4. Number 4, we got Simon and Garfunkel, Mrs. Robinson from the Graduate soundtrack and their own album Bookends in 1968. Now, people say this song wasn't written for the soundtrack, so it kind of makes it unique on this list, but it sort of was. It sort of wasn't, but it sort of was, because the writing of the song was begun before the 1967 film The Graduate, which contained only fragments of it. Full song was released as a single on April 5th, 1968, written by Paul, who offered parts of it to Mike Nichols, the director of The Graduate, alongside Art Garfunkel, after Nichols rejected 2 other songs intended for the film. The song was additionally released on the Mrs. Robinson EP, so I guess it's not a full soundtrack, in 1968, along with 3 other songs from the film, April, Come She Will, Scarborough Fair, and, of course, the epic Sounds of Silence. The story was Mike Nichols was listening obsessively to Simon and Garfunkel during this movie, and he asked them to do songs, and he didn't like any of them that they brought. So they brought a song to him called Mrs. Roosevelt. They just had a placeholder. They didn't know what they were going to call it. And they just put the name Mrs. Robinson in there. So Mike's like, wait a minute, you got a song named Mr. Robinson? You haven't brought it to me. So while it wasn't written for the movie, they changed it up so it fit the movie, right? So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it worked out. It became their second chart topper, reaching number 1 in the U.S., as well as peaking into the top 10 in the U.K., Ireland, and Spain, a bunch of other countries. In 1969, it became the first rock song to win Grammy Award for Record of the Year. In 2004, it finished at number 6 on that AFI 100 Years, 100 Songs survey. Number 9 on the year-end chart in 1968, which was it's really tough. It's loaded back then. Simon's inclusion of the phrase "cuckoo cuckoo" was an homage to a lyric in the Beatles, of course, "I Am the Walrus." Since Mrs. Robinson was not specifically written for The Graduate, it was deemed ineligible for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. And it was put into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. Right, let's go. All right, Mrs. Robinson, love the harmonies, love the guitar melody on this song. This is a fantastic song. It's not as good as The Sounds of Silence, but I don't know if there's 10 other songs in my brain that are better than The Sounds of Silence, but great choice for number 4. I mean, we got absolutely heavyweights here on this whole list, but the top 4, or really 5, if you want to throw M in there, are just unreal. Number 3, got Jailhouse Rock, Elvis from the Jailhouse Rock EP in 1957. This was the King's third movie after Love Me Tender and Loving You. The writers Jerry Leiber and Mike Stoller had written for other artists before including the original version of Hound Dog, of course, for Big Mama Thornton, which Elvis released with dramatically altered lyrics. They wrote many hits for the Coasters around this time as well. Some characters in the song were real. The Purple Gang were a Detroit mob active in the 20s and 30s. Shifty Henry was the name of a session musician in L.A. He's not a criminal. Weber and Stoller always denied that the romance between number 47 and number 3 was meant as a homosexual one, although prisons were gender segregated in the time, so still are. The record is one of a small number to reach the top of the UK charts on both original release and reissue. All of Presley's UK chart toppers were released in 2005, and Jailhouse Rock returned to the top, as did One Night and It's Now or Never. Rolling Stone has it on number 67 on their 500 greatest songs of all time. And it's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame again for 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. 21 on AFI's 100 Songs in 100 Years. The song in the U.S. also spent 1 week at the top of the country charts, reached number 1 in the R&B charts. So kind of crazy. They had that kind of multi-chart appeal, as Elvis did. Another funny thing, talking about the UK number ones. In the 1960s, Elvis was the number 1 artist in the UK, and the Beatles were the number 1 artist in the US. I just always find that crazy interesting. All right, it's a quick one. Let's go. All right, Jailhouse Rock. Is it Elvis's best song, most iconic song? Who knows, man? It might be, but I mean, there's a big list for that. There's a lot of hate of Elvis retrospectively as we just get further and further into the 2020s or into this century. But I mean, you can feel the charisma oozing off this guy just when he's singing it right. He was wildly talented. People could say what they want. Wildly talented. Good choice at number 3. Speaking of wildly talented, number 2, Bee Gees, Staying Alive off the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack, of course, in 1977. Gibb Brothers were recording in France at the famous Chateau de Hérouville. I know I butchered that. Elton John's, of course, Honky Chateau. Another review we have up on the channel. For the next Bee Gees album, when their manager Robert Stigwood got in touch to ask for some songs for a film about disco dancing that he was producing. 4 songs had already been written, and Staying Alive came next. Despite the references to dancing and, quote, everybody's shaking, Brothers always denied this song was meant to be about disco dancing. Robin said, the subject matter of Staying Alive is actually a quite serious one. It's about survival in the streets of New York. And the lyrics actually say that. Barry weighed in. He said, everybody struggles against the world, fighting all the BS and things that can drag you down. And it really is a victory just to survive. When you climb back on top and win bigger than ever before, well, that's something everybody reacts to. Everybody. The song became the second of 6 consecutive U.S. chart toppers for the group. Also the first of 4 consecutive songs written or co-written by Barry Gibb to reach number 1 in the U.S., breaking Lennon and McCartney's 1964 record. And despite the phenomenal success of both the film and the soundtrack, which gave the group 2 other major hits, plus 2 more they'd given to other artists for the soundtrack, the brothers never had any strong relationship with the movie. For many years, claimed they hadn't seen it. Alan Kendall, whose guitar work is key to the recording, featured in more Bee Gees recordings and performances than any other musician, right from 1971 to their final recordings and performances in 2001. All that info was courtesy of Bo Start, who is a Bee Gees superfan. I found that it was on the list of 500 greatest songs ever of Rolling Stone, placing at number 99. It appeared, when we talk about appearing in Saturday Night Fever, it appeared in the opening credits. In the U.S., it was, as Bo Start mentioned, the second of 6 consecutive number 1 songs, tying the record with the Beatles. Now, Whitney Houston eventually broke that with 7 consecutive number 1s. Won the Grammy Award for Best Vocal Arrangement, alongside 3 other wins at the ceremony. Over the years, the brothers kind of had mixed feelings. They agreed this song gave them great success, but they also kind of pigeonholed them as disco. And then they actually got blackballed in the music industry in the 80s, which is absolute garbage. Before disco, the Bee Gees have so much fantastic. They're one of the greatest bands of all time. And most people, a lot of people in the U.S., especially if you're, even me at 50, almost 54, you don't remember pre that. I barely remember these songs when they were actually playing on the radio. I was 6 and 7 years old, but so talented. But they ended up writing songs and producing other artists and have great success there as well. So, yeah. And also kind of a funny thing, you do CPR training for many years. They might have changed this now. I don't know as time goes, but this song's 103 beats per minute, and CPR is supposed to be 100 to 120 beats per minute. So they would tell you, just think of staying alive, or sometimes they would play the song while you were doing your CPR in training. So I've been certified in CPR for a couple decades, and every 2 years you have to redo it. So for many years you would hear this. So kind of cool on that. Let's get it. All right, staying alive, iconic. The second the music comes on, you know what song this is. It's just fantastic harmonies, vocal performance, bass work, all of it, man. All of it is just greatness. And speaking of greatness, in my opinion, bar none, the number 1 artist and best artist of all time, the Beatles weigh in at number 1 on our top 10 movie soundtrack songs, with A Hard Day's Night from the same movie in 1964 and the album in 1964. Credit to Lennon and McCartney, as everything was, but John wrote almost all of it. The phrase, "It's a Hard Day's Night," was by Ringo Starr. Prior to the song being written, it had already been used by Lennon in his book of poems in his own right. So really, he almost deserves a writing credit with Ringo. That's what Bo Start believes, and he's probably right. Beatles were committed to making a movie, and the title "Hard Day's Night" was chosen for it even before the song had been written. Songs featured in the full movie all appear on side 1 of that album, including Paul's "Can't Buy Me Love," which had been a hit earlier that year, which it was between these 2 songs to be on this top 10 list. We battled those off. As per the Beatles' tradition, the song's composer, in this case Lennon, took the lead vocal, but the middle 8, "When I'm Home," was sung by McCartney, as Lennon could not reach the high notes. And of course, Harrison's solo played on a Rickenbacker 12-string becomes super famous, right? Super famous. One of the cool things on this is that in America and in Britain, the song and the albums were number 1 at the same exact time in both places, which had never happened before, to have that kind of success at the same time in both places. And this actually won the Grammy for Best Performance by a Vocal Group on the Rolling Stone list of 500 best songs of all time. This comes in at 153. We have an album review of this album up. We have a listing of a ranking of the best songs from last to first. We have over 80 Beatles videos up, maybe 90 at this point, more than anyone else. So just type in the Beatles and you'll be taken to the playlist in that box above, and you'll see whatever you want to see. All right, let's go. As with all their stuff, the production's so tight. The great George Martin is actually on piano on there. What a fantastic song. When I looked at this final list that we had, I was like, I don't know if I'd have A Hard Day's Night at number 1. You go through and listen to all of them this way, I'd have A Hard Day's Night at number 1. Great choice by the live stream community. Now we get to my favorite tracks. Before we do that, I guess I'll tell you, there's a couple songs I would have had on here if I was making the list, but I wasn't making the list, right? This is a community effort, but I would have had Eye of the Tiger by Survivor and Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds, but that probably dates me from, my teen years. Favorite songs, I mean, this list is fantastic. I think it came together great. I think the diversity, different time periods, it's fantastic. The top 7 songs are all going to be favorites. Bon Jovi, Blaze of Glory, Prince, Purple Rain, Eminem, Lose Yourself, Simon and Garfunkel, Mrs. Robinson, Elvis, Jailhouse Rock, Bee Gees, Staying Alive, and of course, the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. If you want to know where we rank A Hard Day's Night in the Beatles catalog, look for our top 100 Beatles songs, which took about 20 hours to put together, as Trey and I argued over what should be their best song. So just a great effort. Like I said, if you want to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link, the Buy Me a Coffee link, and come to the live streams if you can, 5:30 Central Time on Wednesday nights. There's also the replays up that get watched a bunch, but we're going to put another list like this together. I don't know what it'll be next time, but you have to tune in to find out. All right, guys, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up and the big red subscribe button. Until next time, I will see you.